Should we wait till I hit 6 or am I good to start? Okay. All right, guys. Well, good morning to all of you. Good morning. You're still here. That's pretty amazing. It's so funny how these boot camps, they always start off strong and then they end with the very, very serious coaches. So I want to congratulate you guys for being on this call right now. I know we're on the second month of waking up very, very early in the morning to do these camps, and it takes commitment, and I'm just really excited that I get to spend this morning with you guys. So we are talking about starting off our coaches strong. Carol Ann did an amazing job yesterday, just kind of covering step by step what we need to do in order to start off our coaches strong, right? When we bring on coaches to our team, we want to build momentum for them as soon as possible. We want to get them rock and rolling like ASAP, like within the first 24 hours that they become coaches, we got to get them rolling, right? When we sign up a brand new client, like as a client on our program, we send that night, we send them a text message, we add them to our community site, right? We send them a text the next day, and we just basically stick to them like glue from day one until they hit a good fat burn. And it's the same way with our coaches, right? We want to stick to them like glue. I mean, we want to get into action the moment the business kit is bought. So obviously when you've talked to a coach, you've already talked to a coach and or someone that decided to coach and whatnot, normally they have a few people in their mind, in their heart, that they're ready to go with. Or it's someone that's been losing weight, people are already noticing, they already have a list of people that have asked, hey, what's going on? Hey, I see you losing weight, what's happening, right? And somehow this client decides to become a coach with us. The very first thing what I'm going to do right now is going to basically give like a rundown of what we do, and then we are going to be talking about Anica and I are just going to come from our hearts. We're going to talk about our journey and our process as becoming business leaders, because that's quite a journey as well. It's completely one thing coaching your clients, but then as you're coaching coaches, it's a whole new mindset you're going to begin to develop, and it's also a journey and a process that we want to go through. So Anica and I will definitely be talking from the heart and just kind of sharing this morning about everything we've had to go through and who we've had to become and who we're still becoming as we're becoming business leaders. But I'm quickly going to go through the list of things that Carol Ann talked about. So as soon as obviously somebody says, hey, I'm ready to go, we send them the video to purchase their coach kit, right? If you go to coachanswers.optavia.com, you can actually find this video, or in the simple systems, you can find the video that we send out to all these clients that want to become coaches, and you let them order their coach kit. You copy, you paste it. I normally have it in a shortcut on my cell phone. You start a coaching thread immediately, okay? We want to get them going with their mentorship team or their business team, right? So that's going to be you as their new coach, their business coach, your client who just became a coach, and then your mentor coach. So it's 3 coaches in one thread. You introduce them. Hey, Anica, this is my friend Sarah. Sarah just decided to coach. I'm really excited, blah, 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 blah. Anica says, oh my gosh, Sarah, congratulations on your decision. So exciting. And then you add this person to 0 to 5. So we add them to our community. We let them know you're going to be added to a few communities. I love to tell people, like my new coaches, I'm like, you think like our client side is amazing, like our coaching side is on steroids. I love to say that because I'm just like, it is like beyond phenomenal. These are people working on themselves at this point to become the best versions of themselves, right? So we kind of let them know what's going to go down. We schedule a meet and greet, within 24 hours that they purchase the kit. You don't want to let more than 24 hours go by. And then once we schedule that, we send the welcome to health coaching link, right, which is a welcome email. We confirm that the coach is going to complete the first 3 steps before we get on that call. So we want to make sure that they do the first 3 steps. For me, normally, if they don't do these first 3 steps, I'm kind of like, okay, why did you already start coaching? We want to make sure, and we emphasize that it is very important that they complete these steps because this is part of their journey. So I don't want to be on a meet and greet waiting for them to write their list of people. That's not what this is for. That's not what the call is for. We want them to come prepared. Once they do that, we're going to teach them how to schedule 1 to 2 calls. I mean, we're going to be doing at least 5 calls with them where we will do 1 to 2 calls. We're going to do a health assessment. And then what I like to do is by the second call is done, I say, hey, You ready? Because you're taking on the third one. And normally, we do a debrief, which we'll talk about a little later right now, but we ask them, hey, what did you notice I did first? Did you notice I awakened first? After I awakened and I talked about their why, I shared my story after I did that, right? So every time you do a health assessment with them, the first and the second health assessment, you're going to get on a call with them, and then you're going to debrief that. You're going to send an email with the newest versions of the script, the health assessment, and the client checklist. We have just updated our health assessments, which are beyond fantastic. So you want to make sure you send that email and you drop it in the messenger box. And we want to drop everything in there for them so that as we're going with them in their training, they can go back to their messenger with your business coach, and they can go in there and grab everything they want. Add new coach into agents of transformation if they haven't done so. And then when they're ready to place their first client's order, you send them the video that shows them how to place your client's order. This is what I love. I have a brand new coach. She just started yesterday. She got her first client yesterday. And I said, girl, here's your video. I didn't have to worry. I was like, I didn't have to worry about explaining step by step what she had to do because it was already laid out for me. So these are a few points we want to talk about. When you do your meet and greet, you want to talk about their story. You want to talk about your why. Normally, I let my business coach lead these. I introduce them to each other. I really build up my coach, how amazing he is. And then I build up this client and I say, oh my gosh, she's crushed 40 pounds. She's killing it on program. She's doing amazing. People are asking her. And then you mute yourself. You let your business coach do the rest of the part, right? So the business coach is going to start asking questions and, asking what caused them to decide to coach. We're going to confirm that they have the script, the assessment, the client checklist. We're going to go over practice call text messages, and you basically mute yourself. What I love is that, when we're seasoned coaches and we already know what to do, our business coach will focus mainly Our business coach will focus mainly on finding their story, finding their why they decided to coach, and then you'll take care of those action steps. When they are ready for social media launch, you're going to confirm with your new coach if they're ready, right? We're going to start with a soft launch. And I like to tell them, hey, start posting your lean and greens, start posting little non-scale victories, little things like that, because then we're going to go boom, right? Once we do the social media launch, we want to go in and we want to make sure that they're ready and prepared. But at this point, when we do that, they already understand their soft skills. Their hard skills. Like, we want to make sure that they know how to do a health assessment. We want to make sure that they know how to get these people on a phone call. And this is why we do not launch before we get the hard skills down. It is important that we launch. Sometimes they want to run and sometimes they want to post real quick. We don't want to do that. Okay. So that's one of the most important things. Once launched, we're going to complete 5 to 6 3-way calls. We're going to do a pre-start call with the new coach the night before, we're going to fine tune all the things. But as you go doing this, it is a wash, rinse, repeat. Like Carol Ann said yesterday, honestly, like, you just get to know the process and the system, and it's the same thing for anything. The only difference is you're going to be dealing with different personalities, different types of individuals, but that's pretty much it. Anica?
Yeah, you got it. Oh, I love it. She's bringing the fire at freaking 6 a.m., guys. How awesome is that? Love my girl. This Priscilla, covered so much. She's so right. When it comes down to this, you guys, starting coaches is really quite simple. It's just not always necessarily easy, right? When it comes down to it. But the great thing about this is that we have got steps to make it easy. Follow the steps. People have really started this off for us, created these systems so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. How awesome is that? We don't have to, yes, this is our own business, but we really don't have to create our own systems with this. Success leaves clues in this business. So make it fun. Also encourage the speed of trust with your coaches. Find out what they want and how quickly they want to go. And basically you throw the ball to them and say, okay, here's where we're at. Let them throw the ball back to you. So we're always going to use discretion and discernment when it comes to really starting off coaches strong. So I'm going to be really vulnerable with you guys this morning and kind of talk to you about the last 2.5 years of my journey as a coach and what that has really brought to me and help develop me and our coaches. So In the beginning, guys, I was all about structure, employee mindset. I'm great with systems. And I believe that everybody that started coaching was like me with those aspects. They were doing it because they wanted to build a big business. They wanted to really, help a lot of people. They had the same concepts as me. Well, that was my faulty belief systems as a coach. When I started people off, I was like, okay, you do this, this, and this, and you guys should be good. It doesn't always work that way. I didn't realize that I had to work with people and everybody was different, right? And so with this, I had to learn to be flexible. I had to use discernment. I really had to use discretion. I had to figure out what they wanted. And so this is the important part about the meet and greet for me. When a coach comes on, I really love on the meet and greet to listen to my mentor. And if my mentor isn't doing it, then I'm doing the meet and greet. As you get more involved in your business, this may happen, but figuring out why. What do they want to create in this? What do they see possible, right? What's important to them? And, try to figure that out. If you can figure out their why and why it's so strong for them, you guys are going to have more success in being able to really help your coaches go strong and assist them. Okay. But if we don't know what they want or why they're doing this, we're not going to have much leverage to help them move forward in their business and help more people. So really get a strong why with them and figure out what's important to them and help them achieve that. Now, that's okay if they have small baby goals and they're just like, I just want to help a few people in the beginning, right? That was kind of me. It's $500 extra a month. This was a great goal. It meant a lot to me, right? Now, that didn't mean that we didn't dream a little bit more and say, hey, we did this super quick. Now what's next, right? So we're always going to have that mentality when we come into this of what's next, right? So on the meet and greet, that's one of the things that we absolutely love. Priscilla and I were talking about this yesterday, was the fact that we're always saying on the meet and greet, the best thing that you can do is to ask your business and mentor coach, what's next? Like keep asking them, all right, great, we did this, now what's next? Okay. So from the beginning, I had a little bit of an entrepreneurial mindset in the fact that I grew up with my parents having their own business. And so I saw what it was like to work long hours and things like that and really put my time into it. Sorry, my cat is behind my computer here causing some issues. So, with me, I had no problem investing on the front end, with people and figuring out what they wanted. But a lot of times I just didn't understand why people didn't want to move forward with their goals. And so what this caused me to do with my tribe is figure out what's important to them, constantly ride hip by hip with them. So what I found out is that coaching is not a one size fits all program, right? Just like this program is not a one size fits all. Yes, the majority of the people get on the 5 and 1, right? And if we follow it precisely, we know the results are typical. They're pretty much guaranteed, right? But this business is simple. It's just not always easy. And that is something that you're going to have to want to learn how to make it more easy for your coaches and for yourself. Okay, so everybody's different. Be flexible, be empathetic, be encouraging. There we go. There's the cat. Awaken their motivation. Okay. Really, when you're doing this, basically, you're going to want to pass on the skill set and really watch your coaches grow into this. So when I first started coach, I'm just going to kind of throw this in what I do, and it may be a little different because when I first started this, I had this structure and I was like, all right, we do the meet and greet, then we do the calls. Once the calls are done, then we learn about getting the word out. We do the Facebook launch and all of that, teach them about Facebook. What I found out is that sometimes it doesn't always work in the order in which we think it's supposed to work, you guys. It doesn't. Sometimes you'll bring on a coach and automatically they're already posted on Facebook. And you're like, oh, well, there goes that one, right? So you're going to have to be flexible. You're going to have to use some discernment with these things. But for the most part, if you know what systems to kind of follow, you can kind of play with it a little bit, have some discretion, have some discernment, have some flexibility a little bit, not let our emotions and our stress get to us and go, oh my God, what do we do now? Because they've already jumped ahead of the game. Okay, so the first thing that I always put first is structure. For me, if I know what path I need to take when helping my coaches and in what order, it makes it a lot easier, right? So it all comes down to really skill set, mindset, and action with all of our coaches, right? So we want to make sure that we're passing on the skill set first. We want to make sure that we're constantly managing their mindset a little bit, opening up the potential for them, allowing them to dream, awaken that intrinsic motivation. You know, sometimes we're doing some damage control with their previous belief systems and things like that, and encouraging them. Always stay positive in everything that we do with this, okay? And then we're going to make sure that we're in constant action. So at first, like I said, I really want a strong why, right? I want to know what they want. This isn't about us, you guys. If we're looking about us and saying, well, we just brought on a new coach, Priscilla, this is amazing, I want her to reach senior coach in 15 days. Well, that may not be Priscilla's dream, right? That may not be acceptable for her. That may not be feasible for her. That's okay. We need to figure out what they want, but also encourage that speed of trust to move them forward, to show them what is possible with that. Okay. So when we figure out their why on the meet and greet, immediately what I like to do is start the calls and make sure that they have a list of people on their heart and say, okay, well, obviously we decided that we wanted to coach for a reason. Who do we got on our heart list? Who do we know that could use this right now, right? Who's been asking you? Who's been saying, dang girl, you're looking amazing in those pants. How are you doing what you're doing right now, right? Even if we don't know people that are asking us, I'm asking them. I want you to write down a list. Who do you know that needs the physical aspect of this, the emotional aspect, the community part of this, the financial blessings of this? Who do you know that is struggling right now that's on your heart, right? And if we don't have many people on our heart list, that's okay. Who do you know that'll help us train? Because the bottom line is that we want to pass on the skill set and make sure that that skill set is passed on so that when we do go to social media and we are finding those people out there, that that skill set is passed on, right? So I don't even necessarily, I don't like to say care that they don't start program, but who's our moms, brothers, sisters, cousins, things like that, that we can get on calls that will help you train, right? Who will be there for you on your bedside when we're dying, that will be there for you no matter what, that will help you with stuff like this, okay? Just to hear us train. So I make sure we do that. Like Priscilla said, I usually lead one call. If they really, after debriefing, aren't getting the structure of the why before the how to share the 4 components, right, and how to invite, then I may do one last call and make sure that they take one more notes, but I'd never do more than 2 calls. After that second call, I make sure that they are now leading the next call, because practice is what encourages the growth. Somebody can listen to it over and over again, but that doesn't mean that they're actually going to acquire the skill set until they start to think about what they're saying and they start to be asking the questions. So make sure, don't coddle them too much. We have a tendency of doing that, right? Oh, I want to hear another one. You do this so well. Yeah, that's okay. You've had months or days or years of experience doing that. These coaches need to learn how to pass on that skill. That the only way they're going to do that is to do it themselves. Okay. And the more that they're in it, using all of their senses, their speech, their their sight, their hearing, they're writing down all at the same time, the more the body actually acquires it and makes it a hard skill set. So after I watch them and I make sure that they know how to ask really good questions and get down to a deep why, really know how to share the 4 components of the program. And I like to say 5 components now because I offer coaching every single time. It's the silent 5th component. A strong invite, right? I'm ready for you. This is what's possible. Are you ready to allow me to assist you, right? And going from there. And if they are not ready just yet, if that coach knows how to do our 6 follow-up steps every single time when a client isn't ready just yet, so that that dripping system actually does produce, because we know it works. We do. So once they do that and I feel like they've got an adequate skill set after about 5 calls. If after 5 calls, they're just not really getting the majority of it, that's okay. Tell them to practice it. Tell them to get in front of a mirror. Tell them to send you videos on ones that they've done. Tell them to go practice on people left and right until they get better at this, right? But we're going to kind of move them forward and push them out of their comfort zone a little bit, because the people that are ready right now, it doesn't matter what you say, those people will be ready. So if we start to share that, we may be bringing on clients, okay? So once I feel that they've got a good structure with that, I'm giving them information on how we get the word out. Now, this is something huge that I like to do. It was taught to me by Jamil when I first started, and that's really learning how to share your story with people and tell people what you're doing in a 5-minute call. So I just say, hey, now I'm going to teach you on how to get the word out right now, okay? So basically watch this quick video on how we get the word out, how we build a referral-based business. This is going to be smart business, not hard business. We want to teach our coaches how to work smarter, not harder. And the more people that know what we're doing, guys, then people come to us and we don't have to work on a 1-to-1 ratio. This is smart business practice. So I teach them, say, share your story with your aunts and uncles and godmothers and your cousins and your sisters and your brothers and your friends and, you know, all of those people. Tell them what you're doing and say, hey, you probably know more people than I do. Who do you know that could use this right now? Connect us. Put us in a 3-way messenger chat. Things like that, right? And so we've got a system for that. We'll put that up as one of the action steps a little bit later about how to get the word out. But once I feel that they're good about that, that gets them really good about sharing their story too, making sure that their story is concrete before we put them to social media, like Priscilla was saying, right? So at that point, I say, okay, great. We're going to show you how to use social media a little bit. Start sharing your story. And this is when we get ready for our Facebook launch. Now, they may not be ready just yet. So you're going to have to use discernment and discretion, like I said, a little bit, and either do like a soft launch or a Facebook grand opening. So if they're just really in this mindset, I'm not sure yet, I haven't met my goal weight and blah, 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 that's okay. We're going to share some pieces of your story. We're going to start throwing that out on social media a little bit. But honestly, for the most part, I go all the way. And I just say, we are going to share your story. Look at the amazing things that you have accomplished, right? When I started coaching, guys, I was 2 weeks into program. I had lost 13 pounds. You better believe that we went into a full media launch. I shared my story, what had happened, right? Where I was before program, what had changed, and why I decided to pay this gift forward with a before and after shot, and making sure that we have our compliance statement at the bottom, okay? And when we do that, we're gonna work side by side with our coaches and show them exactly how to respond to these people, how to move them from Facebook to Messenger, and how to move them from Messenger to the phone. So we've got an amazing system on that. Now, once we do that, chances are we're gonna be bringing on quite a few clients, right? We have an amazing story, an amazing picture that speaks 1,000 words, all ready to go right there. People are going to be hovering over your coach's launch. right? We're going to encourage them. We're going to have fun with them with that. They're going to be doing a lot of health assessments with that, but we don't want to just stop right there. It's not like we launch ourselves and then we just let things happen and let the cards lay where they are. At that point, we really want to show them how to use social media, how to continue to be the inspiration. What are they accomplishing? What are they doing? They're lean and green meals, right? They're non-scale victories right now, like fitting into knee-high boots right now, and how their jeans are fitting better, how their energy's improved. Tell them to talk about all aspects of their health a little bit, but also integrate them and show them it's not just health-related posts. How are you loving your life right now? Let's brand you. Let's figure out who Priscilla is, what you enjoy, because you're going to start attracting your tribe right now. And so let's start working with that. So I sit down with my coaches after that and say, okay, let's brand you. What do you love? Who are you? What do you want to do with your life? Right? You're going to work hip to hip with your coaches. Okay. We don't just say, okay, great. Facebook opening's done. Now we're done. You're going to constantly inspect what you expect. We expect all of our coaches to go senior coach. At least I do, because I want to help them get there. I know what this can do for them. And so I'm constantly trying to be integrated with them and show them what's possible, right? So we always want to keep them into action. I am constantly doing that. So from the minute I set up calls, if they're not booking me with calls, I say, guess what? I've got this time, this time, this time available today. What works for you? I give them 3 times. Okay. And I make sure that we get on. So if lack of action is prevalent with some of our coaches that we bring on, don't just let them run the time. Say, hey, I got these available. Let's go. Let's go have some fun. I'm excited about this, right? The speed of trust. Okay. So we do that. Really, decipher what kind of action plan that you want for your coaches. How quickly do they want to get there? Realize that this may change. This may change for them. They may say, oh my gosh, I'm so busy, busy, busy. And then all of a sudden, their action steps do not show you the exact words that they were saying. Or the opposite, right? They're like, oh, I'm all gung-ho, blah, 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 and then silence. That's okay. Do not allow this to paralyze you in your business. People are people. Things come up. Things happen. Don't let this get in the way. Just be like, okay, no big deal. Haven't heard from them. Let's make sure I'm checking in with them, right? Or, okay, now they're running. I need to go a little bit quicker now. I see that, my previous concept maybe of what they said is not what they're saying. This person's running. I'm going to go run with them. Okay. So, this is really where it's at, guys. When you bring on coaches, you really want to help them. You want to handhold them. Okay. You want to feed them everything just in time. Okay. So don't give them things that they don't need. It can be overwhelming because there is a lot of support. We have a ton of information, right, that can help all of us. But you want to give it to them in the order in which they need it, based on what they're doing and how quickly they're moving and how they're assisting their clients. So, that's really how we've helped our team and really helped assist them go far with what they want and how we've really changed in the last couple of years. In the beginning, I'll be honest with you, it was like, here, you want this business? Here's some steps, go do it. And I expected people to just go do the work. I had to learn a lot, you guys. I had to learn a lot. I'm just going to be real. Not everybody is the same, right? And so you're going to have to really work with people. You're really going to have to love people. You're going to have to figure out what's important to them, where they want to go, keep encouraging them to move forward, have the steps available at your fingertips and give it to them when they need it, encourage them to grow, bring them into the community, and allow your coaches to build, right? Don't sit there and keep hand feeding the babies either. Once you feel like that skill set's been passed on, Kick them out of the nest a little bit. That's okay. That's what we want. We want to duplicate ourselves. That is the biggest thing that I want you guys to get away from this. This is meant to duplicate yourself. Duplicate yourself over and over and over and over again. Priscilla, baby, you ready?
I don't even know what to say after that. That's like you just killed it right now. That was so good. That was so good. As you were sharing your story and where you came from when you started coaching, I remember clearly bringing on my very first coach about 4 years ago. And I was so emotionally invested and emotionally attached to this coach that when she did nothing, I was absolutely crushed. I was absolutely crushed. And you know what was the problem? I put all the fault on me. I said, that's because I'm not good enough. That's because I didn't lead her the right way. That's because everything was me. And I had put all my emotions into her. I mean, I would drive her to like North Hollywood to meet her for coffee. How dumb was that? Okay. Whatever. I mean, you do dumb things when you're brand new and, I accept my mistakes now. But I used to drive to meet her because, and it was like I would tell her the same thing over and over and over again. And the thing is, she wanted to hear everything. She wanted to be prepared, to be prepared, to be prepared, but she never got into action. So when she never got into action, she was disappointed with her results because here comes a month and she still doesn't have a client. So then she decides, I don't want to do this anymore. And one of the biggest lessons I learned from that is that this coaching thing is a two-way street. It is a two-way relationship. Your time is money. Your time is valuable. And if you have someone that you've pretty much laid it out for them, you follow that coach checklist that Anica posted yesterday, and they are not doing the work, my friends, it is time to continue looking for more coaches. So when you focus on one person, you don't have enough people. One of the biggest lessons I learned was, you have to shift your energy where the energy is wanted. So she didn't want this, and I'm pouring my energy to her, and I'm like, but here, you don't understand the gift. Like, here, I'm giving you all the stuff you need to do. And I poured all my energy into her, and she didn't want it. And so my heart was hurt. It was crushed when she said, I don't want to do this anymore. Oh my gosh, I didn't want to do this anymore either. So the problem there that lied there, I remember getting on a call with my mentorship team, was Jamil told me, you don't have enough people on your team. You simply don't have enough people on your team. So one of the biggest things I learned is we cannot be emotionally attached to these people. We can fall in love with their why. We can want to fight for their why, fight for their dreams, and fight for what they want, but we cannot want it more than them. So if you have a checklist, you don't have to be perfect. Follow the checklist. As it goes, put the dates of everything you've done with this person. And if you go through the checklist and you're like, okay, we're down to this part and she's still not doing anything. I mean, I normally get back on a call and I'm like, hey, Sarah, I mean, we talked about this and I know how badly you want to pay off those credit cards. Like, what's going on? What's happening here? And one of the things I love to ask on a Coach Explore, I make this a priority, is how much time do you have to commit to this business? Because Rome was not built overnight. Okay. I mean, McDonald's was not built overnight. So I need to know what your level of commitment is because that's going to be my level of commitment to you too. And make sure they know we run a massive team. We have a big team of coaches, where we literally give our time everywhere with our clients, with our coaches, coach acquisition, all those things. So I want to know what that person's level of commitment is because that's what's going to tell me. If they tell me, oh, I can just do like 30 minutes a day, like Wednesdays and Thursdays, I'm honest with them. All right, girlie, well, just so you know, that's not going to get you to your dreams. That's not going to get you to earn this kind of money. Like, just so you know, like it's not realistic in any sort of business entrepreneurial thing you do. Like, it's just not realistic, right? So really finding that level of commitment for me is very important because that's the kind of level of commitment I want to give to them as well, as serious as they are with this. Now, Anica's so right. I got on a call with my sister probably a couple of weeks ago, and her why broke my heart. I don't know if it's because it's my sister, maybe she's related or whatever, but her why was so big. I mean, it encompassed like her identity, her husband, her children, more than anything else. For me, the most important thing when somebody tells me why they want to become a coach, I try to peel the onion even more to get down to them. Yes, I want to bring my husband home from corporate. Yes, I want to put my kids through college. Yes, I want to save for the college funds. That is wonderful. That is great. But for me personally, the most important thing is finding the why for themselves. How is this going to propel them, right? What is it going to do to them? It wasn't until I found my sister's why within her identity, what it represented to her, did she begin to run, because now this mattered to her because it was for her. So finding that deep why, getting good at uncovering, asking a ton of questions. If you don't know what the question means, if you don't know what the answer is, or you're just like, I don't know exactly what she means, what the best thing Jamil always says is, tell me more. Tell me more about that. Tell me more. Can you explain that to me a little bit more? And then they start crying, because they really begin to uncover that onion, and they begin to uncover. So when you're not sure where the call is going, when you're trying to uncover their why, you ask them, tell me more. Like, share with me a little bit more about that, because it's important that we get to the core of their why. It's all pretty that you want to put your kids through college and you want to buy a big house. But for me, all of that is things that are going to pass. For me, I want to find that deep why for them, because I want to attach myself to that why like this. I had a brand new coach. It was the very first coach that I fell in love with somebody's why. I remember calling Jamil so happy. I'm like, oh my God, I actually fell in love with somebody's why. Like, this is crazy, in love with somebody's why. And her why was that her husband had been living in England. She had been living in Texas. They hadn't seen each other for 5 years because she didn't have money to get his papers to bring him over. And that put a fire within me. Like, I want to help you unite your family. Like, that is so big. We cried, we prayed on the phone, we did everything. Did she pursue this? No. Unfortunately, but I was there every step of the way. Again, we cannot want it more than them. So my mindset began to change when I started bringing on more people. When I got really busy and I was shifting energy in different places, that's when my mindset changed. And I realized I cannot be emotionally attached to anybody, because this is brutal. It's going to affect me personally. So that's one of my biggest things for you guys. Do not be emotionally attached to anybody. Just do the work, do the system. If they want it, great. If they don't want it, all you can do is be there and like continue dripping. Even as coaches, hey, I was thinking of you, Sarah. What's going on? I know how badly you wanted this, but I'm here for you when you're ready. I legit am here for you when you're ready, right? That's as much as we can do. All we can do is get really good at awakening intrinsic motivation, like Anica said, and they're going to have to want to run. And you're not going to find all runners. And I'm going to tell you this, even if you find their deep why and you get good at uncovering that and you fall in love with it, if they don't want to run, that's on them, not on you. Just like your clients, you can't want this more than them. You can't babysit them 24/7, making sure they're having all their fuelings, drinking their water, having their lean and green. You have a life too. So it's the same way with the coaches. What do they want? So you do want to set the expectation according to their goals, right? You want to set the expectation according to what their goals are. And for real, for me, it's just like, okay, girl, you know what? I love to shoot for goals. I can't just grab one of those, what are those thingies called, the arrows? It's an arrow, a bow and an arrow. Like, I can't just grab a bow and an arrow and shoot it to the sky and be like, okay, where's that thing going to land? No, I actually need to have something to work towards with you, because I want to make sure that we get the boots on the ground and we start running, right? I want to shoot for first goal. So based on what you've told me, based on what you want to, the kind of income you want to make, I know that we can get you to your first goal, which is going to be making close to $500 within the first 2 to 3 weeks. We just got to get the action going. You need to put the things in place, right? So you set that expectation according to their goals and what they want, and then you run with them. And one thing Anica said that I love, love, love that Jamil tells all my brand new coaches is like, you need to ask Priscilla, what's next? What's next? What's next, coach? I just did that. What's next? And we need to create that culture within that team and say, you need to ask me what's next. What's next? Okay, coach, I did that. What do I do next? So that's very important, to set that expectation, let them know what we're going to shoot for. And then after we talk about that, then we say, then our next goal is going to get you to what we call executive director. You'll be earning about $2,500. That can happen within 2 to 3 months if you consistently put the work in. That's a minimum time. You can run as much as you want, and I'll go with you because we set the course, the course, and you set the pace, right? So we set the expectation from the beginning according to whatever they want. So after that, our job is to transfer our skill set. It's to duplicate ourselves. You know how to do a health assessment. You know how to do a client celebration call. You have the shortcuts on your phone to send those text messages. You know how to add them to your client site. Now you need to teach all those skills to this person. So it's not hard. You got to analyze, okay, what are the things that I normally do when I bring on a client? I do a health assessment. I put them in the client site. I send them the text messages. I set up a 1-week celebration call. I set up a 1-month celebration call. Okay, those are the things that Sarah needs to learn. She needs to learn all of that because I'm going to duplicate myself. So now, like Anica said, you start just-in-time training, right? I'm not going to send my sister the text messages yet, not until she gets her first client. Which she did. She got her mom last night. Her mom is her first client. So I sent her the video and I said, okay, now girl, what you're going to do is you're going to set up your website and now you're going to go ahead and add this. I am not sending her the text messages until she tells me done. My mom is my first client. Okay, now what you're going to do is here, save this on your phone, on your show cards. You're going to go ahead and send her these text messages. You copy, you personalize, and you send. And save this because this is for all your future clients. So do you see how we're little by little just kind of like taking those baby steps with her? I'm not going to be like, here's your client side. This is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to do. No, I'm not going to overwhelm her like that. So little by little, as they do the first step, then you're a tiny step ahead of them. Then you say, okay, now you did that. Now you're going to add her to the client site. You're going to welcome her. Go through the newsfeed. There's a ton of welcomes. People are always welcoming people there, until you get comfortable putting in your own welcome. I mean, heck, copy my welcomes. I don't care. Welcome the person in, put a picture of them so that we can all welcome that person, right? And then we talk about that. So little by little, we start giving that. So that is our goal. Our goal is to transfer everything that we know to them. So it's not that hard because when you think about it, how do you acquire your clients? What do you do with your clients? How do you support your clients? And so that's the most important part, that you know how to transfer everything you know to these people, to these coaches, because your goal is to basically one day be like, go, fly, you're good to go. Now you go produce your people because I transferred my skills to you. I'm very certain that those skills are going to be transferred to the next and the next and the next and the next levels, right? So that's very, very important. Now, going down to our actions, right? At the end of the day, you cannot do the actions for them. What I like to do within 24 hours, if we've already set the expectation of what's going to happen, and we say, okay, you sent out these text messages or whatever. Normally, I like to send out the text messages while I'm in the call. But if for some reason that didn't happen because the call went longer, because we talked about their story or other things, I'm on it. I'm not embarrassed. I will text them the next day. Like, I'm not like, oh, I don't want to bug her. Like, I don't want to ask her if she already sent the text messages. Hey, girl, did you send out your text messages already? Has anybody responded? No? Okay, send it to the next 5. Send it right now. Like, oh, you don't have time right now? Okay, what time will you be able to send those text messages? 2:00? Okay, I'll reach out at 2:30. Literally, like, if they want this, I will help them. Like, I'm going to be bold and I'm going to be there. And sometimes they need a little push, because a lot of people are not entrepreneurs. A lot of people don't understand the level of commitment. A lot of people don't understand that you have to sit down and build the action, and for a while, my sister's like, oh, I'm going to the grocery store. I'm going to go pick up my kids. I'm just going to go visit my mother-in-law real quick, drop off something I made for her. All right, girl, when are you going to send out your text messages? Like, let me know when you're going to do that because I really need to make some time for you on my calendar. So let me know when you're going to send those out, So she went a whole weekend without sending anything out. So I'm like, oh no, in my head, I know this is bad, but in my head, I'm like, great, she's not going to run, but I'm like, It's fine. She doesn't run. She doesn't want this as badly as she said she does, right? But on Monday, she was like, okay, sister, I sent out all my text messages. So she set up 5 calls for the rest of this week, right? So it's really being on them, but not in a way where it's abusive and annoying, but just being like, I'm going to fight for your why. Because sometimes, they'll forget about that. And that was one of the biggest things for me. It's like, I want to help fight for their why. If they don't know how to fight for their why just yet, then I'm going to fight for them for their why until they know how to fight for their why, if that makes sense. So action is so important, guys. Like I said, they're going to do everything. I mean, all we can do is keep them accountable if they're doing the work. We're going to ask, hey, are you doing the work? Like, hey, are you sending out those text messages? Hey, who are we going to talk to this week? Who do you have in your heart that we're going to talk to, right? Are you building on that list? We want to build on that contact list that you wrote, those 25 names. We want to write your network down. So continue writing on that list and don't prejudge anybody. Do not judge anybody. I learned my lesson. Like for me, I have a coach on my team, Cynthia. I mean, you would have seen her and you're like, oh, that girl does not need program. She does not need program. She had the cutest little body in the world after her baby. I didn't know her struggles. I had no idea what her struggles were. But you know what? I added her on my list because they told me it doesn't matter whether you think that person has a weight loss story or not. They need it. You write their names down because they're living and they're breathing, and you're going to write their names down because 1, they either become a referral source for you, or 2, that person becomes a coach. And so that's why it's important that you do not prejudge. And I teach that to my clients because to my coaches, a lot of brand new coaches will come in and have but they'll have their fat glasses on. It's because I don't know anyone that's big. Like I'm looking all around and I don't know who to give this to. And then finally they have a list and they're like, I don't want to go to that person and say she's big, So that's why we say this is a lifestyle program. It's a lifestyle approach. So for me, and I love to say this for them, I didn't come for weight loss. I came because my finances were hurting. I came because my marriage was hurting because of my finances. That's why I came. And I tell that to all my coaches because we need to expand their vision from the very beginning. We need to expand the vision that this is not a company where I just help people lose weight. It's not. It's a lifestyle approach with a longevity kind of program after that. Like we teach them that. So this is really important. So topics that we want to consider that Anica and I kind of talked about is definitely getting a strong why. Get a super strong why with them. Hold their hand the whole way. Do not be afraid to be bold, to fight for their dreams, to fight for their why. Because sometimes they'll be all excited in the meet and greet, and then it's all crickets. You don't know what to say. Should I reach out to her? Should I not? I don't want to bug her. And I used to think that all the time. I'm like, I don't want to bug her. Like I already told her what she has to do, and she hasn't done it. Maybe she's busy. Maybe she's got work. She's got kids. She's super busy. No. Hey, girl. Did you send out those text messages? Right? Hold their hands. Be flexible. Be super flexible because you are dealing with multiple personalities. Some people are so by the book. Other people are like, nah, I'll figure out how to do it. And you kind of got to like bring people in, right? As long as you know the process, be flexible because you're going to be working with so many different types of people. And that's why I say you cannot be like attached to these people. And then hand feed them that information. As they go, you're just a tiny step ahead of them. You're just a tiny step ahead of them. You're like teaching a baby how to walk. You're teaching a baby how to walk, and he takes the first step and you take the next, and he takes the first step and you take the next. And then you say, come on, baby, let's go. We got this, right? And they start doing it slowly, but surely they're starting to learn the systems. So that's what's very important. Sometimes they'll bring on 1 client and 2 clients, and then they go MIA. And you're just like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? And sometimes you never even get down to their why because they don't even know their why yet. So it's important to get on calls with them and be like, hey, let's talk again about what you want. Like we haven't talked about that. I had a coach recently. I thought she was like a runner. I was like a runner, but I feel like I never really truly discovered her why because I'd ask the questions and she would dodge the questions. I'd ask the questions. She dodged the questions so much. And I tried to ask them. Then by the end of the call, I'm like, I got nowhere. I looked at my notes and I'm like, I don't know what she wants. I don't know what she wants. I absolutely got nowhere. But she already came with the mindset, and I think I said this in a training once where she told Jamil and I don't want to build an empire like you or Priscilla. That's not my thing. You guys want that? Great. I don't want that. You know? And so I'm looking at my notes and I'm like, what does this lady want? Until this day, I don't know. Till this day, she has two clients. I'm trying to help her, get on I'm like, let's get on a call. Let's talk about what you want. Let's see, let's shoot for a goal. She doesn't want to. So it's okay. All I can do is drip and love, drip and love, drip and love. That's all. That's all I can do. And sometimes some of these coaches, when they're ready to run, they will run. When they're ready to go, they will go. So don't give up on those coaches, because I will tell you guys, my wonderful and lovely, beautiful friend, Priscilla Nelson, she was a special case as a coach, and if she's on this call, she's going to laugh because it's true. Like, I was like pulling my hair with her. She wanted me to do everything, everything, everything. I wanted to pull my hair. But you know what? No matter how much it tired me out, I was there to love every step of the way. I dripped and I loved, and I dripped and I loved. And it was hard, but I literally had to put it in my calendar to drip and love on her. Right? Until in December, something happened. She had an awakening and she is running since December. So that's why do not give up on your coaches that are not doing anything today. If they became a coach for a reason, they're here for a reason. They decided to say yes for a reason. Maybe they haven't uncovered that why. Maybe they really haven't uncovered it. Maybe, things are going on in their lives that they make a priority over what they want or their dreams or the why. Drip and love, drip and love. That is all we can do, for real. That is all we can do as coaches. You drip and you love on them, and that's pretty much it. And as a business coach, as you start doing this, I encourage you guys to work on your mindset, on your personal development, right? Read books, read leadership books, listen to podcasts about leadership, because as you polish yourself and you shine yourself, you are going to up the level of you're going to up your level of, how do I say this? The way you coach people is going to be completely different, because you're understanding humans. You're understanding what a leadership role is like. I used to think that a leader was a boss. No, a leader is not a boss. All we can do is inspire people. That's pretty much. You have to get good at awakening intrinsic motivation and inspiring people. When you inspire people, they want to run. And that's why, my husband says, mad respect to you and all the coaches. Because he told me, for me, what you guys do is so much harder than what my dad does. His dad is a very successful CEO of a very big company, my father-in-law, very successful CEO. But my husband tells me he was given that. He was given his board of directors. He was given his employees. He was given everything. He's like, yes, he worked hard for it, but he was given that. He's like, but all you and the coaches can do is inspire people and want people to want to pursue their best life. And so I thought that's true, because that nobody's working for me. All I can do is awaken intrinsic motivation in my coaches and inspire them to pursue their best life, inspire them to believe in themselves. And I believe in them before they believe in themselves. I believe for them first. So because I believe for them, I fight for them, if that makes sense. So you have to be that pillar for your brand new coach. They're like babies. They literally are like babies. You have to carry them, and you have to, you have to help them grow. But like Anica said, you're going to have to be like, hey, it's time to fly. Right. And one of the things is, for me, if a coach doesn't get what to do within the first or second call of a health assessment that we do, if they don't know how to do it, I'm like, okay, I've done 2 already and you're not sure how to, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to send you Anica's video. Listen to her do a health assessment. Oh, you still don't get it? Let me send you Becca Tinter's video. Let's see if you get it there. Oh, you still don't get it? Let me send you Tiffany Howard's video. That way you start hearing how other people do it, and get in the car, practice with your kids, practice with everybody, and we're going to get on the next health assessment and I'm going to hear you. So you basically have to throw them out the nest and be like, you got to fly. I can't do all these calls for you. I'm sorry, because you also have a life and you need to continue building your business. So anyway, Anica, those are my words. for you guys today. I hope I brought some value.
Such amazing value, girl. I'm like sitting here taking notes like usual. I just love listening to you. I always learn so much. Wasn't this good, guys? Yeah? Good. I'm glad. So I want you guys to think a little bit right now before we end this call, a little bit about where you are right now. And after listening to Carol Ann yesterday and the previous trainers, Priscilla today, me today, where are you at? What do we need to get better at? Right? Think about that. Where have I been lacking with supporting my coaches? And be real about it. Write it down and reach out to your mentorship team and say, how do I get better at this? Or ask, what do I need to get better at? Right? That is what we are here for. That is what your mentorship team is here for, is to help you. This is our only dream and desire, is to help you help more people, right? And the only way that we do that is, like Priscilla said, build our own skill set, build our own mindset, and get into action. So we have some phenomenal action steps that we're going to put this morning in the group. But I want you to think about one last thing before we let you go. Nothing happens if nothing happens. So what are we going to do with this, you guys? Right? Let's go have fun. Let's go help other people get the dream that they want in life. This is what we get to do every single day, is to help other people with their dreams. And if we can help other people become successful physically, mentally, financially, of course we get the blessings from it, right? It is more about those emotional deposits in our bank account than the financial deposits, although we get paid very, very well as coaches, right? But we're going to have to put in the hard work. We're going to have to put in the hard work, and we're going to have to develop ourselves and figure out, what have I been missing that I need to get better at so that I can help pass this skill set on to my coaches. All right, you guys, I hope this was an amazing morning for you guys. We'll post the action steps in the group, and have an amazing Thursday. Thank you so much, Priscilla, for allowing me to be on with you this morning and gracing us with your presence. You're just an amazing person. Ladies and gentlemen, happy Thursday. Bye, guys.